Hey everyone, my name is Jake. I'm an architect living in a small but very picturesque town in Oregon. My specialty is the restoration of historic buildings. You could say it's my passion. I love bringing old houses back to their former beauty and grandeur. Recently, a very interesting project came my way. The restoration of a huge 19th century Victorian mansion. A real gem, but sadly, very dilapidated. The owner of the house, a wealthy old millionaire, decided to turn it into a museum for his extensive art collection. There's a ton of work to be done, but I gladly took it on. Can't miss an opportunity like this. One problem, though, interior design. That's where I'm not so strong. But the millionaire, fortunately, took care of everything. He hired a certain Emily, a well-known designer in town, to do the interior spaces. And since I've been working with this client for a long time, he entrusted me to oversee both the restoration and the design project. Damn, how I hate spreading myself thin. But there's no way around it. Work is work. Okay, I'll manage somehow, not my first rodeo. On Monday, we have our first meeting with this Emily at the site. Let's see what kind of bird she is. I hope she's not one of those snooty designers who see nothing beyond fashion magazines. Working with those is a nightmare. I've experienced it myself more than once. All right, I'm off. I still need to call my wife, or she'll be grumbling again that I'm late. My Sarah doesn't really have the patience of an angel, and when it comes to my work, that's it. It's a lost cause. She always thinks I spend more time with projects than with her. What nonsense, for God's sake. Oh well, we'll sort it out. I hop into my pickup and steer out of the parking lot. A week of rush jobs and running around awaits, but I love my work. And I'm already looking forward to how fabulously we'll restore this mansion. The main thing is to find common ground with this Emily. Let's go! Monday morning turned out to be unusually sunny and warm. A great day to start a new project. I arrived at the site a little ahead of schedule, wanting to look everything over again before the designer arrived. The house was mind-blowing. 3 stories, turrets on the corners, walls overgrown with ivy, carved wooden balconies. A gorgeous example of Victorian architecture, though the years and the elements had taken their toll. Well, we'll bring the beauty back to life. Mr. Jacob Stone, a melodic female voice suddenly sounded behind me. I turned around and was dumbfounded. Holy crap, is that her, Emily? It can't be. My wife's mother in the flesh. Mrs. Otis? I mumbled, swallowing hard. You're the designer? The one and only, Emily smirked, holding out her hand to me. And you must be the architect hired by Stevens? Well, fancy meeting you here. I silently shook her slender hand, feeling my cheeks burn. What a twist! Not only will I have to work side by side with my mother-in-law, but on such an important project too. Freaking fantastic. Well, son-in-law, will you show me around the estate? Emily squinted slyly, nodding at the mansion. Or are we going to keep posing as statues of ourselves? Yes, of course. I unfroze, nervously smoothing my hair. Please come in. I'll tell you what's what as we go. For the next couple of hours, we wandered through endless rooms and corridors, discussing the scope of work. I have to give Emily credit. She knew her stuff excellently, asked sensible questions, made valid points, offered interesting ideas. I even started to calm down a little. Maybe it's not so bad. We'll manage somehow. There was, however, one awkward moment. When we were examining the huge master bedroom, Emily suddenly turned sharply and slammed right into me. I barely managed to catch her so she wouldn't fall. Lord, how light she is, and that dress hugs her figure so tightly. Oops, sorry. My mother-in-law laughed, pulling away. I'm really clumsy today. No problem, I squeezed out, feeling my shirt sticking to my sweaty back. It happens. Phew, I hope she didn't notice how my hands trembled when I caught her. What the hell, Jake? Pull yourself together. She's your wife's mother, after all. Even if she's damn attractive. Okay, stop. I can't even think about that. Never and under no circumstances. It's total trash and disrespectful to Sarah. Get it out of your head, pronto. Okay, I think that's enough for today, I said cheerfully, rolling up the blueprints. Let's continue tomorrow, all right? All right, Emily nodded, smiling enigmatically. Don't miss me too much here, son-in-law. Wouldn't dream of it, I chuckled. Oh, I'm afraid now I'll only be thinking about you. For the next couple of weeks, Emily and I slaved away like madmen. I don't know about her, but I would arrive at the site almost at dawn and leave after dark. There was work up to my eyeballs. Everything had to be done on time. And on top of that, dealing with this mother-in-law of mine. No, don't get me wrong. Working with her turned out to be even pleasant. We surprisingly quickly found common ground and worked well together. Emily turned out to be a passionate professional who loves her job. I like that about her. It's just, damn, I can't stop thinking about her. Every time she's near me, it's like butterflies start fluttering inside. My skin burns from accidental touches, and my gaze keeps trying to latch onto her shapely silhouette, hugged by a tight skirt. Yuck, what a disgrace. Jake, what are you, a 15-year-old boy for crying out loud? A grown married man, have some decency. You have a wife waiting at home, by the way. A wife who, incidentally, is getting more and more psyched out every day because of your constant delays at work. Jake, what the hell? Sarah, angry and tired, meets me at the doorstep. It's 1 a.m, by the way. Do you even remember the last time you had dinner at home? Or at least just saw the kids? Honey, I'm sorry. I mumble guiltily, kissing my wife on the temple. You know we're in a rush right now. Stevens is demanding we deliver the first phase in a week, so I have to stay late. Yeah, especially with my mommy dearest. Sarah squints angrily. What, so engrossed in each other that there's no time left for family? I freeze, my blood running cold at her words. What? How did she notice my involuntary attraction to Emily? No, that's crazy. I've been carefully hiding it, controlling myself. Or did I give something away? Lord, what do I do? Sarah, what are you saying? I begin cautiously. What does your mom have to do with it? We're just working together, that's all. Nothing like what you're thinking. So you know what I'm thinking then? My wife narrows her eyes, crossing her arms over her chest. Wonderful. Care to spell it out? Oh, come on. I try to smile as carefree as possible. Think about it yourself. It's complete nonsense. We're professionals working on a common cause, so we have to spend a lot of time together. That's all, honestly. For several long moments, Sarah drills me with a scrutinizing gaze. Seems like an eternity. I stand there neither alive nor dead, afraid to even breathe. If only you knew, honey, what thoughts are actually stirring my imagination, how your mother haunts my dreams every night in the most indecent situations. Fine, she finally sighs, softening. Sorry, I don't know what came over me myself. I just miss you, that's why I'm raging. I miss you too, sunshine. I hug my wife, feeling my heart clench with shame. Bear with me a little longer, okay? It'll all be over soon, and we'll have plenty of time for each other. I promise. God, why am I lying? I know perfectly well that it's not about the project, but about the one who is firmly settled in my thoughts and fantasies. The woman I have no right to, my own mother-in-law, damn it all, and she doesn't even suspect what a storm of passion she awakens in me. She calmly goes about her business, interacts with me as if nothing happened, not a single extra glance, word, or gesture. A real iron lady, that's for sure. And me, I'm going crazy with desire, fully aware that nothing good will come of it. But I can't help myself, and that only makes it worse. Emily, what are you doing to me? Why are you tormenting me so? I almost love you, desperately, hopelessly, with a forbidden, bitter, scorching love. This day started as usual. Early rise, silent breakfast with Sarah and the kids, long goodbye kiss. The standard set of an exemplary family man, yeah. And in my chest, a red-hot lump of guilt and shame, growing with each day. Damn this restoration, and damn me. Emily was already waiting for me at the mansion, beautiful and fresh as a May rose. The cream pantsuit hugged her shapely figure, golden strands sparkled in her hair. As always, impeccable and unapproachable, but that gaze, piercing, penetrating, as if seeing right through me, to the very bottom of my spoiled, yearning soul. "Good morning, Jake," she smiled, flashing even teeth. "Well, soldier, ready for the final push? One last phase left, and then the opening is just around the corner." "Morning," I mumbled, looking away. "Yeah, let's just finish it all up quickly. There will be a ton of people. Everything needs to be perfected. And go our separate ways finally before I go off the rails here," I mentally added. Of course, I would never say that out loud. The last thing I need is to end our fruitful collaboration with dirty scenes, some hero lover I turned out to be. The next few hours flew by in the usual whirlwind of affairs. Discussions with contractors, work supervision, endless calls and correspondence. I rushed around the site like a madman, trying not to think about anything unnecessary. It was going so-so. What's the point in hiding sins? Time and again I caught myself staring at Emily, going into a stupor from her scent or an accidental touch. Damn it all, what the hell? And then it happened. In the hustle and bustle of preparation, Emily and I ended up in one of the far rooms of the mansion. We urgently needed to check some specifications. We were jostling in there together, going through the papers, and then out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that my mother-in-law had turned pale and swayed. Damn, is she feeling unwell? Emily, what's wrong? I stepped toward her worriedly, reaching out my hand. Are you ill? Sit down. I'll be right. And then with a muffled moan, she sank right onto me. I barely managed to catch her, pressing her to me. Her head lolled back limply, her lips parted. Lord, what is this? Emily, wake up. I gently patted her cheeks, feeling my heart pounding wildly. What's wrong with you? A doctor, I need to call a doctor. And then her eyelashes fluttered, swung up, revealing to me the stunning blue of her transparent eyes. Pupils dilated, gaze cloudy, and full of some strange, mesmerizing fire. Jake, Emily breathed out barely audibly, and from the huskiness in her voice, shivers ran down my spine. Jake, forgive me. And the next moment, her lips pressed against mine, desperately, hungrily, frenziedly, arms twined around my neck, pulling me closer, and God, I was lost in the whirlpool of her scent, taste, the trembling of her body in my arms. At that moment, my mind switched off completely. There remained only a frenzied, primal desire. I remember what followed in snatches, as if in a feverish delirium. Passionate kisses, feverish movements of hands tearing clothes off each other. The hard carpet against my back, the weight and heat of her naked body on top, muffled moans and sobs shaking the stale air of the dusty room. Rhythmic, frantic movements, throwing me to the very edge of bliss again and again. Lips bitten to the point of blood, a cry gurgling in my throat, and finally, a blinding flash carrying me to the stars. God, what have we done? What have I done? Betrayed my family, my wife, myself, destroyed everything I had built for years with one crazy, selfless act. And the worst part, I felt no remorse, only regret that it would not happen again. It won't happen again, will it? That day changed everything. I don't know about Emily, but for me it definitely did. I kept waiting for the sky to fall, to punish me for what I'd done. For Sarah to finally figure it all out, throw a fit, leave, take the kids. Or for someone on the side to blab, for rumors and gossip to start, for sideways glances. After all, it's not so easy to wiggle out of such things, right? But no, life went on as if nothing had happened. I still disappeared from dawn to dusk at the site, torn between restoration and design. Emily still carried out her duties impeccably, calm and collected. Our eyes barely met, and if they did, they immediately turned away in shame, as if there had never been that scorching, forbidden passion between us. Only I knew that it was all just a facade, a fragile illusion of normalcy. Inside me, a real hell was raging, tearing my body and soul apart. Every night I lay awake, rummaging through the details of our intimacy in my memory. Every morning I woke up with a desperate, aching longing. I tried to drive those thoughts away, to get them out of my head, to lose myself in work. Useless. Sarah, of course, noticed my condition. I saw the question in her eyes, the suspicion, the pain, but she remained silent, and that made it even worse. Better if she had thrown a fit, smashed everything to smithereens. I would have endured it, accepted it as my due. Anything is better than this oppressive expectation of retribution. However, days passed, and nothing happened. Emily and I still kept our distance, avoided being alone together. I hid behind work like a shield. She immersed herself in finishing the interiors. And only sometimes, when our gazes accidentally collided, it was as if an electric shock passed between us. A moment, and that's it. The spell was broken. We became strangers, distant people again. It went on like this for a couple more weeks. During this time, the mansion was completely transformed, acquiring a truly museum-like luster. Only the final decorative finishing and arrangement of exhibits remained. And then the grand opening was just around the corner. Who would have thought that I would be looking forward to it so much? Not for the eternal sense of a job well done, no, but in order to get rid of temptation as soon as possible, to pull the splinter out of my heart. Silly, I know. How can you run away from yourself? From feelings that are forbidden, wrong, but so real. Nevertheless, I was going to try. I simply had to try, otherwise I wouldn't last long. I would go crazy, make a mess of things, and come what may, as my father-in-law likes to say. Speaking of him, in all this time, he never once appeared at the site. I sinfully decided that the old man had sniffed something out and now despised me. Although, what am I talking about? He doesn't even know how closely his daughter-in-law and I are working together. Well, at least I hope so. In general, one way or another, the bright opening day finally arrived. Invitations sent out, exhibits delivered and arranged, the mansion gleaming like new. All that remained was to greet the guests and work through the required program, and then it's home to our families, to my family, which I... Jake, come see me for a minute. Emily appears in the doorway of my temporary office. Pale, haggard, judging by the circles under her eyes. She hasn't been sleeping lately either. Yes, of course, I mutter, putting aside the papers. Did something happen? It did, my mother-in-law replies hollowly and disappears into the corridor. My heart skips a beat. Lord, what now? With a heavy feeling, I got up and headed to Emily's office. The sensation was as if I was going to the scaffold, or to the torture chamber. Every step was difficult, my thoughts were confused. What does she want to tell me? To confess that she regrets what happened? To ask to keep it all a secret? Or worse, to inform me that she's pregnant? The very thought made me break out in a cold sweat. Lord, I'll just die if that's the case, and Sarah will die too, that's for sure. Emily was sitting at her desk, hands clasped together and staring at one spot. She didn't even flinch when I entered, and closed the door behind me. She just kept drilling her gaze into the polished tabletop, as if hoping to see the answers to all questions there. I walked over to the visitor's chair on numb legs and collapsed into it. For a few minutes, a ringing silence reigned in the office. You wanted to see me? I finally squeezed out, unable to bear it. My voice dropped from agitation, sounding like the caw of a sick crow. Yes! Emily slowly raised her eyes to me, tired, sad. Jake, we need to talk. I'm listening, I replied, barely audibly, inwardly cringing. Here it comes. Now I'll find out how deep I'm in. About what happened between us, she faltered, biting her lip. She took a deep breath, gathering her courage. Jake, it was a mistake. My heart instantly felt lighter. So, not pregnant. Thank God for that, at least. However, her next words made me shiver again. But I don't regret it, you hear? Not one bit. And if I could turn back time, I would do it all over again. What? I stared at Emily in shock, not believing my ears. Is she serious? After everything we've done, after the pain we've caused our loved ones, she doesn't regret it? How is that even possible? Emily, listen, I started, but my mother-in-law cut me off with a gesture. No, you listen. I love you, Jake. I've loved you all these years, ever since you first appeared on the threshold of our house, holding my daughter's hand. So handsome, stately, manly. The perfect husband for my girl. I resigned myself, accepted it as a given, gave you up to her like the most precious trophy. And I myself have been going crazy all this time from unspoken feelings. I was silent, stunned by this sudden confession. Lord, and here I was, a fool, thinking that she didn't give a damn about me. I thought she never forgave me for taking her beloved daughter away from the family, but it turned out like this. So why didn't you tell me before? I blurted out before I could bite my tongue. Emily chuckled bitterly. And would you have listened? Believed? Come on, Jake. You loved Sarah. You think I didn't see the way you look at her? With such tenderness, adoration. How could I compete with my young, beautiful daughter? I began and faltered. Because it's true. Would I have believed in Emily's love back then? Not for the world. I would have thought it was some clever manipulation or an evil joke altogether. So it's probably for the best that she kept silent all this time. So there you have it, my mother-in-law said wearily, leaning back in her chair. I just wanted you to know. But it doesn't change anything, Jake. We can't be together. You're married to my daughter. You have children. Family can't be destroyed. It's sacred. So that's why I'm leaving, right after the museum opens. What? Leaving? I even got up from my chair in shock. How is it leaving? What about me? What about us? Is this really how it's all going to end? For long? Was all I could squeeze out, feeling my throat constrict. Emily shrugged. If need be, forever. I can't do this anymore, Jake. Seeing you every day, working side by side, knowing that I can never be with you, it's beyond my strength. It's better to leave, to start everything from scratch. Maybe with time, I'll be able to forget you. Although unlikely, of course. I wanted to object, to say that I also wouldn't be able to forget her. That even though we messed up, the feelings won't go away. That it's better to somehow solve everything here and now, rather than run from problems. But my tongue seemed to be stuck to my larynx. Probably, deep down, I understood that Emily was right. Leaving is indeed the best way out, at least for her. And me, well, I'll survive somehow. Probably. I understand. I finally drop heavily, cradling my head in my hands. You're right, of course. This will be more proper. But Emily, God, I don't even know what to say. Forgive me, I guess, for everything, both for what happened and for what didn't happen. God knows I didn't mean to hurt you. My mother-in-law smiles sadly, rising from behind the desk. She comes right up to me, places her slender hand on top of my head, tousles my hair, as if I were a mischievous boy. No need to apologize, Jake. It's not your fault. It just happened, that's all. It occurs. The main thing is that we realized it in time, didn't let it go too far. Sarah will never know, I promise. And why would she? We'll both keep quiet, right? I nod, not looking at her, unable to raise my eyes, to look into the face of the woman I betrayed. Even if not by my own will, but still. All right, Emily sighs, removing her hand. Time to get ready. The guests will be here any minute. Need to double-check everything again. See you at the opening, Jake. She leaves, leaving me alone with the emotions tearing my soul apart. I sit for a few more minutes, stupidly staring into space. My head is filled with a ringing emptiness. I can't believe that this is how it will all end. Although maybe it's right. Emily is correct. Family cannot be destroyed, even for the sake of the greatest love. Probably. Voices are already heard in the corridor. The first visitors. It's time for me to move out too. Work, damn it. Waits for no one. I get up heavily, straighten my jacket, take a folder with documents. One last look in the mirror. What a mug. Pale, haggard, shadows under the eyes. Okay, hopefully no one will notice. It's not about me today, after all. On stiff legs, I descend the stairs, merge into the festive crowd. Officials, journalists, all sorts of bohemian folk. I have to smile, shake hands, accept congratulations. I hope it's not visible how much I'm shaking. My gaze keeps searching the crowd for Emily, involuntarily, by itself. But she's nowhere to be seen. Maybe she changed her mind about leaving? And then I hear Sarah's voice. I turn around and freeze. My wife is standing in the doorway with a distorted face, clutching a crumpled piece of paper in her hands. Emily is hovering behind her back with a frozen expression of universal sorrow on her face. "Surprise, darling!" Sarah spits out, looking me straight in the eye. "Know what I just found out? My mother is pregnant, and guess by whom?" A ringing silence hangs in the echoing hall. I hear the blood pounding in my temples. I feel like I misheard. It can't be. No, I don't believe it. This simply can't. "You heard right, dear." My wife's voice oozes venom. I also thought at first that it was a joke, but no. Here, take a look. Test results, ultrasound, the whole deal. 2 months along. Fancy that? Just when you locked yourself up here with my mommy, not coming out? Well, did you have a successful trip to the location, lovebirds? Worked yourselves to the bone? I open my mouth and close it. God, 2 months? I didn't even think about protection then. What an idiot I am. How could I? Damn, how is this? Why didn't Emily say anything? Why didn't she confess right away that she got knocked up? Did she want to slip the baby to me on the sly? No, that's crazy. She couldn't have. I'm sorry, I whisper with white lips, looking at the floor. I can't manage more than that. I'm not allowed to finish. Sarah slaps me across the face with a swing, my head even jerked. The crowd gasps. Someone is shouting something, but I can't make out the words. A thin ringing starts growing in my ears. "You bastard!" My wife throws at me finally and, turning sharply, leaves. I remain standing like a pole in the middle of the babbling guests. My gaze stumbles upon Emily. hunched over, aged 20 years at once. She looks at me, and in her eyes pain is splashing mixed with relief. God, what is this? My father-in-law's voice by my ear brings me to my senses. What have you done, huh? How could you with your own mother-in-law? Damn it all. He vigorously shakes me by the shoulder and pushing me towards the exit commands, now get out of here, so that there's no spirit of you left here. I'll sort it out myself. And you go on, get lost, and don't you dare come near us or Emily, understand? That's it, scram. I obediently trudge to the doors, stumbling at every step. There's a ringing emptiness in my head. It's all over. I've destroyed everything, betrayed, disgraced, broke destinies, trampled dreams, and for what? A brief flash of passion, a fleeting whim? Damn me, Emily is pregnant, by me, divorce is inevitable, life has gone to hell. And the worst part is that nothing can be fixed now. It's too late. No one needs me anymore. Not my wife, not my children, not even Emily, who loved me so much. That's it. The end of the line. I exit the mansion, furiously tearing the tie from my neck. The dank autumn wind hits my face. The sky is covered with low-gray clouds. A light rain is drizzling. Just right for a day like this. I deeply inhale the damp air, hunch over, dive into the crowd. I disappear, from now on and forever. Goodbye, Emily. Goodbye, Sarah. Forgive me if you can. I let you down. I let everyone down. I'm so sorry. This is how ingloriously this incredible story ended. A story of forbidden love, passion, betrayal, and repentance. There are no right or wrong ones in it. There are only people, weak, lost, lonely, craving love and understanding. I left town that same evening, dropped everything and drove to the other end of the country. No one ever saw me again. Sarah filed for divorce the next day, without unnecessary words or explanations, took the kids, changed her last name, went on with her life. Emily went to Europe to give birth. That's what was needed, she said, to start all over, far away from gossip and sideways glances. She named her daughter Emma, in honor of unfulfilled love. The museum opened a week after the scandal. The owner didn't comment on what happened. The press was savoring it all on the front pages anyway, and the mansion remained standing in its place, beautiful and lonely, a silent witness to human hopes and disappointments. So that's how it is. I don't even know why I told you all this. Probably just because it's easier that way, to get it off my chest, to share. Maybe it'll get easier. And the story is instructive too. What can I say? Forgive this fool for the sentimentality. On this note, let's probably finish. Thank you for listening. Take care of your loved ones, and don't repeat my mistakes. It's not worth it, believe me. All right, folks, goodbye. God grant you happiness and love, and may the Lord keep you. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.